I think that we can make a case that says customer experience is in danger of becoming overly complicated, technical, benchmark, framework, measured, codified, certified, yada, yada, yada. And it's displaying some of the same characteristics as prog rock. Let me show you some evidence that may support this. Here's a marketing technology landscape slide that Scott Brinker tends to put together as part of chiefmartech.com. This is from April 2020. Now, the interesting thing about that is that there are 8,000 pieces of technology in and around the customer experience space. That's 8,000. Oh my word, that's a lot of choice. And so it's like there is the evidence there. It's becoming overly kind of complicated. But as kind of Stefan said, there's also the big number that's floating around. The research suggests that not just 70%, but north of 70% of all digital transformation, customer experience initiatives, big change initiatives, big cultural service excellence initiatives are failing to hit their mark, failing to meet their objectives. And that's where my kind of frustration is. All this data makes me think, wow, what would a punk version of CX look like? And that was the thing that fueled my frustration in that pub with my friend Oshin back in December 2017. I was like, wow, what does this look like? But I actually think punk it's an attitude and a mindset. It's not a method. I think these days we end up getting kind of obsessed by method. Actually, it's more of a case of how do we think about something? How do we feel about being different? How do we feel about actually standing out from the crowd? Are we willing to flip things on their head? But I think what we need to do is we need to dispel some images or some myths around kind of punk, because you don't actually have to have a Mohican to be a punk. You don't actually have to have that kind of purple kind of hair or that stud in your nose and the big kind of chain and the leather jacket and the big boots and all these different things and be kind of pogoing around all the place. You don't actually have to do that. What you need to do is you just need to dare to be different, to stand out, to be counterintuitive, to matter, ladies and gentlemen, to not to be boring, to not to believe the hype or get carried away with the hype, and to go against the grain and all these other kind of things. And this is what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to incite you to kind of to think differently, to do differently. But what I also want to show you is that here's a list, a long list. I agree of words that people have given to me when I've been doing podcast interviews about punk CX over the last 18 months. And what I've been doing at the end of every kind of podcast is asking people about what their one or two words they would use to describe what a punk approach to customer experience would be. And this is some of the words that they've given me. And you can see it's a broad church. It's everything from personal to challenging to real to rebellious to intuitive to simple to eclectic, all of these different things. So you can see it's a broad kind of church. And that backs up this idea that it's a mindset and an attitude, not a method. And I think that's what we need to kind of we need to keep in mind. And